What is this? Okay, there we go. All right. I am live. Yay. I need to change that thumbnail. This thumbnail is terrible. This is not the thumbnail for, let me see if I can just see if I can edit this. I look rough. Don't pay any mind to it. I got to change this thumbnail like right now. Let me see if I can edit video and change this god-awful thumbnail. I mean, it's not an awful thumbnail, but it's not an accurate thumbnail. Let's see, change the thumbnail to... One sec, guys. Let me change this thumbnail. I'll be here till dinner tonight. Okay, well, I'm planning on not having this live stream be a long one. So we'll figure out how that works. Hopefully it won't be too long. Let me see. I just need to fix this thumbnail real quick. I didn't mean to go this late either. So my fault. My fault. Where's my decent pictures at? I need a decent picture for the thumbnail. Decent. All right, well, I guess I'll just pick this one. Where's my decent pictures at? Where's the good ones? Not this one. Oh, well. One sec, everybody. Let me just change this thumbnail real quick. Real quick. All right. That'll do. All right. Let me go back to this live. Okay, we're here now. Great. All right. No Mama Moonlight today. Yeah, no Mama Moonlight today. She's went to a brunch, so she won't be here today. But I'll try to get her in. I don't know. We'll see. It sucks because with the lack of a camera, I don't have the luxury of doing videos with Mom. So that's, you know, that sucks, but what can you do? Let me move this just a little bit. Right there. Like that. Move back just a little bit. Hopefully you guys can hear me despite me moving back from the camera. I just want to move back. Let me turn this up just a little bit. I know I haven't not put out a lot of, there we go. I guess that's better. I know I haven't put out a lot of videos lately, so I do want to apologize for that. My grandmother is doing better. She left on Tuesday, this Tuesday. So she's back at home. She's using a cane now. But she doesn't need to be taken care of anymore for the most part. And we're all happy. Can you just find, okay, good. But yeah, she's doing well. But because of all of that, I've had time to think about the trajectory of my channel. And I'm proud of what I've done and what I've managed to talk about so far. A lot of the unpopular content I can tell what's not popular based on the views of some of the stuff that I put out, but it doesn't bother me because I'm going to put out what I believe regardless. I'm going to say what I say regardless. So whatever gets views, what doesn't, and it's not going to bother me one bit. But I've had time to like reflect a little bit for 3 weeks worth. I did put out 2 videos, the Taman one, and then there was one after that. And I can't remember exactly what the title of it was. But I put out 2 videos during the 3-week period of my unfortunate hiatus, which I wasn't planning on. But I've been really thinking hard about the trajectory of my channel, and I don't know exactly where I'm going right now, if I'm being honest. I am gonna do like the Tyga JK store like thing, Soul Touchy and Boys stuff. I'm gonna talk about the history of this group, that group. I am doing that. I actually have found all of my information for the most part on Soul Touchy and Boys, and I'm gonna make a script on it and talk about it in my way, my fashion, you know, Moonlight style. But as far as talking about like really serious stuff, I don't know where I'm standing on that right now. I'm still kind of wondering. I found out the interesting news about New Jeans and their first little court trial, I guess you could say. And I wrote a little script on that, and just to update people on it. And you know, I don't know if I'm going to give too much of my perspective on this video, but just to update and let people know, because I feel like I feel over the New Jeans stuff at this point. I really do. It is important, but I'm kind of over like giving my thoughts. Go wherever it takes you. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going. I have no clue right now, but I do, but I don't. Because like I said, I'm planning on the Soul Touchy and Boys thing. I'm planning the Tyga JK, which is going to be very out of my comfort zone. I don't normally cover stories of K-pop groups, how they were formed and all that. I'm going to talk about the history of SM Entertainment, most likely, YG, JYP, all that. Hybe even. And I think it'd be important to do that on my channel. I would love to talk about it. So I'm gonna look into doing it. But as far as like talking about, for example, the Kim Se-ron thing, someone asked me to do that, like give my thoughts on it. But I find it really hard to talk about the Kim Se-ron thing. It's very sensitive. And I don't know. The only way I'll be able to talk about it, I'll just put it this way, is if I'm unbiased completely and just reporting on it. That is the only way I'd ever talk about the Kim Se-ron thing, because I have no clue who's right, who's wrong. Is the mom right? Is Kim Soo-hyun involved in the way that people are saying he is? Were they dating? What's going on there? I don't know. I don't know. And I don't want to speculate on it, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm kind of torn, because somebody did ask me to, if you find it difficult, then don't do it. Yeah. But I'm finding a lot of topics difficult these days. I did finish my recording of the Taemin thing, of his Horizon song for the Eternal mini album. I did finish that, but I'm still working on it and editing it, and it went longer than I intended. Mind you, I just realized I pulled out this spoon. Don't pay any mind to the spoon. I realized that after 3 weeks of not doing YouTube, I become very excited and I did not realize how happy I was to return. I had no idea, but I guess it's just embedded in me at this point. But I was very excited to come back to YouTube. I started talking about Horizon, all the things that I liked, disliked. Some people might disagree with my dislikes. Maybe what I disliked is what they loved the best, the most. I didn't pinpoint too many technical things, just certain things that I was just kind of like, I don't know about this, I don't know about that. Some of it's probably just like nitpicking. But overall, I don't think the song is bad. Again, I'll give my... What am I doing? Anyway, I'll give my review on that hopefully this coming week. But right now, I haven't been able to finish it just yet. That, because I've been trying to allocate my time to other stuff. I'm working on this drawing that I'm doing right now of my boy Vaughn. Vaughn, who has a YouTube channel. He's a model in Korea. I talked about him before. I've been working on that. I've been working on my health. I've been going to the gym lately. Yes, I actually have been going to the gym with my sister. Fun. It was more fun than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to try to get it in the gym. And, you know, trying to, like, I guess, take care of myself a little bit better and not prioritize YouTube as much as I have been. That said, I'm not abandoning you all, okay? I'm not abandoning my Moonlight community. I still have a lot of content left in me to put out. This channel's far from done, okay? So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Make sure the bell notifications turned on. Make sure you're subscribed. I've got a lot of stuff. I think it's just a slow start to the year because we did not anticipate my grandmother breaking her hip. We did not anticipate a lot of other things that happened at the beginning of this year. So now that most of that stuff is kind of cleared, I can do more YouTube stuff and more KTube stuff. But I'm not sure about the Kim Se-ron thing. I don't know if I can cover that right now. I don't know. Because there's a lot of crap. I don't want to say crap. There's a lot of stuff in that is really, really weird. I mean, I'm just gonna bring up some of the reasons why I don't feel comfortable covering it right now. I'm not saying I won't cover it. I might, but at the moment I feel uncomfortable covering it, and I'm gonna tell you, got quality over quantity, exactly. That, you know what, and Shiny's Nuna, that is what I'm working on now. Trying to do quality. I think quality is more important than quantity. Of course, quantity gets you more views and more ad revenue and all that. But quality, it doesn't matter how many videos you put out. You have to make sure that your videos are not just thrown out there. Like, oh, I'm just going to, you know how... I'm not going to say any names. I don't feel like it. Y'all know the YouTube channels that do that. They just milk the algorithm and do all that. I'm not trying to do that. I have my own mind. I have my own way of doing things, and I don't want to do that, right? So it's going to be quality over quantity on my channel. That's what I want. So if I take, like I said before, if I take a month to make a script and film everything and all that for like a whole video essay on the history of Sotajian boys, the history of Taiga JK, the history of Shiny. You know I'm going to do a Shiny one. Shiny's the reason why I even made my channel in the first place. I've got to do a Shiny one. So yeah, it's going to take a long time for me to make these. Some people can make a video essay and have the video be 4 minutes long, or maybe 6 minutes tops. I don't know how you do that. It's not like they're speed reading. I don't know how they do it. It's amazing. But I don't want to do that. I want to take my time. I want to make I mean, if I happen to make it and it's like 6 minutes long and it happens to be that, that's great. But if not, you know. Oh, Key's new home looks cool. I saw clips. Episode next. Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, I saw that there's a few episodes that were, well, one of which did appear on my algorithm, so I'm gonna definitely look at that too. I can give you some blog post info I did of Shiny. Cool. Oh, by the way, Shiny's Nuna, the story that you sent me, I need to look at it again and make sure I understood it. Because I did, let me just go there real quick, because you sent me that and I looked at it, and let me just make sure that I remember what it was. Keep it in my mind. Let me see, where is it? Taemin. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. You can da 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 da. Yep. In Hype and Staff under fire for getting Nikki. Yeah, I can. Yes, I think that's the one. So yeah, I just wanted to keep that. Make sure that I got that. Okay. So I can look into that for sure. It's probably not going to be a long video. It's probably going to be very short. It probably won't need to be long. But yeah, when it comes to like the stories and, you know, video essays about idol groups and stuff, I'm working on doing that. But when it comes to like this Kim Se-ron thing, the Kim Soo-hyun thing, that's going to be very, very tricky, because a lot of people have been talking about it. It's actually harder to talk about that than it is about the New Jeans stuff. Really. Not just because, well, mainly because Kim Se-ron unalived. But it's not just that. It's all the stuff surrounding it and the constant speculation surrounding Kim Soo-hyun and Kim Se-ron's alleged relationship. Apparently she was signed to a label called Gold Medalist, and it's Kim Soo-hyun's label. And, you know, the whole thing about her unaliving on his birthday, people are like trying to say that she was trying to, you know, hint at something, like she did it intentionally on his birthday. It's just, there's too many. The mother, you know, coming out and saying stuff. The YouTuber that was putting out information that I have no idea. Just too much stuff. People saying that Kim Soo-hyun paid off the YouTuber or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to touch it right now. It's just a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I've been struggling with that for 3 weeks, trying to figure out, should I do it? I was even in process of writing a script for it. And I told myself, if you're struggling this much, maybe it's a sign you shouldn't talk about it yet. So I'm not going to talk about it right now. Doesn't mean I won't talk about it, but I'm just not going to do it right now. So there's that. But other than that, yes, I am back-ish. Just give me some time to work on this video. I've been putting out some YouTube shorts. I know YouTube shorts pales in comparison to my videos. I know that. But for the meantime, while I'm working on what I'm working on, I'm going to put out YouTube shorts periodically. Because there's videos that a lot of people have not seen. And if I put out some shorts of some of the topics I've discussed in the past in previous videos, maybe it'll lead them to the actual video. And they can watch that for the first time. Because I've covered a lot of stuff. Especially regarding the black K-pop community. As a black K-pop stan myself. So recently I've been putting out stuff about like the N-word. Koreans don't take us seriously when we say don't use that word because it's so dangerous and so harmful and so bad, but we use it in our own vocabulary and our own conversations and in American media, black media, whether it's movies, TV shows, songs, whatever. We put that word in everything. And I will say this, one of the things I did fail to mention in my video was that sometimes it's not even Koreans saying the N-word, it's them saying nega. And Americans getting triggered because they think that they're saying the other word, but they're not. And I failed to mention that. I wish I had. I did correct it in the What is Woke video, but the What is Woke video is like an hour and 25 minutes or so. And no, is it an hour and 25 minutes? I think it's an hour and 25 minutes, yeah. So you might not catch that if you don't watch the whole video, because it does come a little later on. But yeah, I wish I had mentioned that in that video, but either way, did they just cut? Anyway, whatever. My TV does this to me sometimes. It cuts me off the stuff. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about more stuff. I think I verbalized so many things already and vocalized so many points already and things that I have a problem with. Like, what else is there to talk about at this point? I've tackled topics that a lot of K-tubers would never tackle. And it's very... this journey's been very interesting. I don't think anybody has ever really tackled the N-word issue in K-pop. I don't think anybody's ever tackled the different cultural hairstyles that are considered cultural appropriation in certain ethnicities, I guess, in the West. People have talked about it, but they come from the same stance that it is cultural appropriation, whereas I'm like, it's not. And there are some people who have like reacted to stuff, did like reaction videos and stuff, and they're black K-pop stans or whatever, and they like the hairstyle. They don't have any complaints. So it's very different. That's what the description box is for. With topics, you can place a short synopsis in there and ask people to read it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's... Sometimes I can't tell whether you're being sarcastic or not. That was very sarcastic. But yes, that is what the description box is for. That's what the description box is for. You're right. You're right. Some people rarely read the description box, but that is what the description box is for. That's why I do give my synopsis. But my synopsis tends to be quite long because I get carried away, which is probably not a good thing. I need to be short so people can actually like read it and not get tired of reading. But yeah, sometimes in my synopsis I explain things a lot better in there than I do in the video sometimes. So, but yeah, either way, that's kind of how I'm feeling about my channel right now. Just unsure about a lot of things that I want to do, and a bit worried that I'm not, I don't know, I'm worried that I'm not being creative enough, I guess, or thinking outside the box, or trying to stay away from topics that are too touchy. I don't know. I feel like I'm having what do you call it? I feel like I've hit a creative slump, I guess you could say, just a little bit. Yeah, that's how I feel. So I feel a little down about it. Just being honest, guys. I'm having a bit of a bullet points that bullet points then can be used. Yes. Yes. That's true. So yeah, that's how I've been feeling lately, and trying to figure out what topics are topics I should talk about, what topics are topics that I shouldn't bother with, or what, like, what do I talk? I used to have so much creativity, but I really do think it's because I talked about almost everything. I've talked about almost everything that I could possibly think of to talk about. So I'm kind of out of ideas a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm kind of out of ideas. And it sucks to admit this to you guys, but I really am. I feel like I'm kind of out of ideas, and I'm hitting a slump. So I'm trying to figure out what other stuff to talk about. Yes, I do want to talk about vocal stuff. I'm working on the other video as well. I did say I was going to work on that. Oh, I meant to ask in the last live stream sorry, I gotta get my mind together first. There was a comment from someone named Roland. They asked me if I could talk about like toxic solo stands. And I gotta find this comment, like exactly what this comment said, and I don't know if I'm gonna find it or not, and I don't remember exactly what video it was on. But I really do need to find this comment. Let me see if I can find it real quick, guys. If I can't, then I can't. Yeah, I said I was gonna make a video about it too, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm gonna find it, y'all. There was a comment that was basically saying, could you talk about toxic solo stands and how it causes problems, basically, when there's a solo stand who talks about this one person in the K-pop group and like the obsession over them, and how it can lead to people, saying that the group, this person doesn't need the group, and things like that. I need examples of like this kind of thing, because I never thought that solo standing was that big of a deal. It's like, okay, people solo stand people all the time. Like bias, like who's your bias in this group and who's your bias in that group. I'm guessing that bias and solo standing is two different things. Bias is like, oh, my bias is this person, but I love all the members. Solo standing is like, oh no, it's this one, it's this particular idol all day long. I don't care about the other members. Not saying that all of solo standing is like this, but like there's the toxic solo standing. But I need examples, because I'm not familiar with solo standing. I've probably encountered it at some point in the past, but I just don't recognize it or remember anything about solo standing. So that's why I haven't tackled it yet. I'm trying to find examples, and I could use some help figuring out what solo standing is. Like, how is it a harmful thing? Because if I see it and I can speak to it if I see examples of it. But if I don't see examples of it and I don't see like the harm in it, I tend to not address it. I only address things mainly if there's a potential harm or a potential precedent that it could set for K-pop. Girls' Generation, where a solo stan tried to grab Taehyun off the stage. Though not sure if that would be the same thing. I mean, that would probably just land in Sasang territory. I don't know if it's a solo stan thing. Um, I mean, you could argue Ollie London was a solo stan because all he talked about was Jimin all day long, and he wanted to look like Jimin and all this other stuff. But I don't know. I mean, that's a bad example though. That's actually a bad example, meaning it's a good example because it shows just how toxic solo standing can be, and it was damaging to himself. Really, it was damaging to himself. He was trying to capitalize off of Jimin, but I don't even know if he was a stan for real of BTS. If I'm being honest, I think he was just using Jimin, Jimin's name and Jimin all this Jimin stuff to get clout. That's what I think he was doing. I don't think he was actually an army. I really, I mean, he said he taught in Korea for whatever, blah, blah, blah. So he has history with Korea and he's been to Korea and all that. But I don't think that the guy is really a fan of BTS like he claimed he was. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think personally that he is one. So yeah, I'm gonna find it. Just I gotta look for it really really hard because I don't remember. And I will say this. I don't know if I said this before or not, but I was very touched by my friend Mochi-san. I woke up one morning and Mochi-san sent me like 20,000 yen, which is like the US equivalent of $134 or so, $35. Super thanks from on my last live stream. And I was just like, what? um, that was amazing. I was not expecting that at all. That was that was amazing. That normally doesn't happen to me, but God bless that man. Mochi is just awesome. He's a good friend, like I said. So, yeah, probably not. Exactly. I don't think he was a fan, for real. But yeah, I don't know. Like, solo stan toxicity. I really have to, like, find some kind of examples or, like, is it known that this person was a Taehyun's, like, solo? I mean, I guess you could imply that they were because they didn't pull none of the other girls off the stage. So I guess they were like solo standing. Honestly, that's just I feel like that's just sasang behavior. Like you could just chalk it up to sasang because I feel like solo standing you don't have to be a sasang to be a solo stand. Like the two aren't synonymous with each other. You could be and or, but one doesn't really mean that you are automatically the other thing, sasang. So I gotta find examples of like toxic solo stan. He was obsessed with Taehyun. Ah, so he was obsessed with Taehyun too. I don't remember him talking much about Taehyun, um, but I don't put it past him to be obsessed with almost all the members. The pretty members like Jimin and Taehyun and people like that. Of course, I think he tried to get plastic surgery to look like who was it? It was a female idol later on when he was trying to become transracial or something like that. There's no such thing as transracial, but okay. Um, well, what's that girl? Well, the woman's name that was the head of the NAACP. She was, I guess you could say, transracial, even though she wasn't actually black. But yeah. I gotta find examples because I have no clue. No clue what that would even look like a solo stand. Okay, I will put it this way. When it comes to like the Baekhyun and Dio thing, you guys remember I made the Baekhyun and Dio video. I'm sure that a lot of, well, I don't want to say this, I don't want to generalize. There were those, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure there were those that were coming from the angle of solo standing Baekhyun. There might have been those that were coming from the angle of solo standing Dio. Right? But I feel like there's the good kind of solo standing and the bad kind of solo standing. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with solo standing. I think the problem is when you talk about the person you're standing as if they're the only one that matters in the group, and like the group don't need them anymore, or he or she doesn't need the group anymore. They can do fine all by themselves. They're pretty much what made the group so successful in the first place. The group would not be what it is without them. You know, other than that, I don't really know what other harmful things could come of it. So I really need some examples. Like, what has happened? What happened to didn't I don't, not to say that it's, you know, it's necessarily that I need it. If there are no examples, then I can just go off of what I've already said, right? Because it's already known that that's what happens. But if there are like any extreme examples, I would love to have those, just for knowledge purposes and for academic purposes so that I could talk about it. Because if it's serious, yeah, I do want to know so that I can talk about it and we can hash it out in a video or two, you know. But other than that, I don't know what the harm in solo standing is entirely. Because I could say I solo stand one member of a group. I don't know how you could if all the members are pretty good at what they do. But I feel like, I don't know, it's very complicated, solo standing, because I've never really done it. I have a bias in like, or I'll put it this way, I could have a bias in a group, but that's as far as it goes. And I don't normally have biases in group because I think all the members of the group are what makes the group what the group is. So I don't have a particular bias in a lot of groups. But you know, Jonghyun in SHINee, that was my bias, I guess you could say. But other than that, I love all the members. I don't have an issue with any other member of a group or whatever. And yeah, I can talk about the flaws and shortcomings of group members, but I when it comes to solo standing, I have no idea. No idea how to talk about solo standing because I've never encountered it really that I know of. How about this? I'm not a fan of Blackpink. Okay. Well, I mean, but that's, you know, solo stand. Well, I'm not a fan of Blackpink, but except for Rose. Well, oh yeah. I get you. I mean, that's solo standing, but like, there's nothing toxic about it. Like, you're not bashing the other members or, you know, saying that they're talentless or they're nothing without Rose or anything like that, right? So it's not really toxic, but like, if there's any examples, like, I could say, you know, I'm a bias of Baekhyun from EXO, and I like Baekhyun more than all the other members. All the other members are nothing compared to Baekhyun. Baekhyun is just like the end-all, be-all of vocal perfection, and none of the other vocalists in EXO come close, and blah, 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 right? Or I could say Dio is like the best singer in all of EXO, and he can do no wrong. And hey, Ninguk, welcome, 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 welcome. He can do no wrong. He's like he's the pinnacle of vocal perfection, and none of the other vocalists in EXO pale in comparison, or they pale in comparison compared to Dio. Which is, I guess, subjectively true for you, but it's not objectively true, right? As a point of fact, it's you can have that opinion, but it's not true, because you're discounting Chen, you're discounting Chenyo's a really good singer, actually. Jumin, you're discounting all the other singers. Lay, I'm telling you, this is a hill I'll die on, though. I don't think Lay got as much vocal treatment as he should have, because he actually has a really good voice. And they didn't utilize him as much as they could have. They gave him like one line. Back when EXO M was like gone and it was just EXO, and Lay was like the only Chinese member left. It was like one-liners here, one-liner there, and I was just like disappointed that they didn't utilize Lay that much. It was just kind of like, why have him if you're not going to utilize him in some way? Or Kai, who has a solo concert coming up. Yes, I am so Kai, that's my guy right there. So many people, I don't know. I hope y'all don't see what's happening to my ear right now. I hope y'all don't see that. I hope that doesn't catch on camera. I'm so glad that Kai's back. By the way, Kai is another underrated singer in EXO. Great, he's like the best dancer next to Sehun, but when it comes to, I don't know, people might argue about who's the best dancer next to Kai, because some people might say that Baekhyun is the second best dancer. Others might say Sehun is. I've always thought that Sehun was, personally. But yeah, Kai is my bias. For a good reason, I know. Kai is a brilliant, brilliant talent. I mean, a brilliant talent. But yeah, I feel like I lost my train of thought for like a split second. I'm not feeling as energetic today as I usually do, so y'all forgive me. I'm really not that energetic. These 3 weeks have been really, really hard for me as a content creator, if you couldn't tell by the lack of videos. But because like everybody's talking about stuff that I'm not okay. Let me back up. No, not everyone's talking about stuff that I'm not interested in. But there's some K-tubing channels that are talking about stuff I don't really want to talk about or reiterate. Minhee Jin and New Jeans, everybody's been talking about that. Everybody has been talking about that. Literally every channel, K-tube related, has talked about it, or are still talking about it, because it's still going on. I am tired of talking about it. I am going to make a video, though, just kind of briefly going over what's going on now, because some stuff did come out. I actually made a script that is right in front of me about the Seoul Central District Court ruling that New Jeans cannot engage in independent music or broadcasting or advertisement activities and things like that without a door. So like that's something that is very important that I think we need to talk about. But it's going to be brief. It's going to be brief. It's going to be a brief script. I'm not going to throw too much of my personal opinion in it. It's just going to be a brief report and done. I don't feel like going... Everybody knows where I stand on this. And it's weird how people will tell you that you're wrong for having a side on something like this. And this is the thing that really kind of bothered me about the Minhee Jin thing for a long time. You can have your side, fine. You if you're for, New Jeans, you don't even have to be... Now, if you're for Minhee Jin, I kind of question where your mind is. Me personally, I don't understand how you could ever after everything that's come out about this woman, be on her side? No idea. But if you're on New Jeans' side, okay, fine. Because they're not actually the same thing. Even if New Jeans claims that Min Hee Jin is a part of New Jeans, they're not the same thing. Unless you're buying what New Jeans is selling you with that line. Which I'm not. They're not the same thing. They shouldn't be treated the same way. If you're for New Jeans, fine. Or NJZ or whatever they're going by now, fine. Fine. If you're for, Adore, great. Okay? But I think the constant vilifying of each other based on what side you're on, how can you be a conscious human being if you're on this side or that side, has gotten very, very tiring. It's really exhausting. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. But that said, people mainly criticize people, at least from what I've seen, who are on Adore side because it's a company, or should I say a label, a subsidiary label, a part of Hybe, there are people that believe that Hybe is this tyrannical company that is destroying their artists in some way, shape, or form. And again, Adore made a very good point. Why would we invest all this money in New Jeans only to sabotage them? Just like for what? Why? Why do that? And it's a question that a lot of people, I don't know how I got on this topic, but I'm still passionate about this topic. That's why. I'm still passionate about it because if New Jeans wins completely, it sets a precedent that any group or CEO of a subsidiary label can pull this stunt again and again and again. But maybe not so much CEO level, but just artist level or idol level. I don't really consider them artists yet because they haven't put out any of their own original work with their they haven't written anything or produced anything of their own without someone else producing it for them. So right now they're just idols, not artists to me. But as far as artists or idols are concerned, get my words twisted up, it sets a dangerous precedent because then what's to say that another group can't do this to another label or company ever again? Just unilaterally terminate contract and go and start promoting and getting brand deals that are not authorized by the label that you're claiming you're not a part of anymore because the contract was unilaterally, terminated because it was breached. And then, okay, I'll make sure that wasn't my phone. It's breached because according to New Jeans, or according to Min Hee Jin rather, them basically kicking her out of her position as CEO was a breach of the contract to Min Hee Jin. That's what Min Hee Jin said. That's not how that works. And I think everybody with a brain in between their ears knows that that's not how that works. That's just not how that works. It doesn't say that. I'm pretty sure there's no contract saying, I don't know what it says, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't say that the contract is null and void if Min Hee Jin is removed as CEO. Then the contract is null and void or something like that. Pretty sure it doesn't say that. Which I'm going to talk about in my video because the court actually ruled that it was not a breach of contract for Adore to remove her as CEO. What it is it's a business decision that was made by management. So if it's a management decision, it has nothing to do with the contract being breached. And remember, very important, Adore was going to keep Min Hee Jin around. They didn't kick her out the company. They just removed her as CEO. They were offering her a position still on the board, and she refused. She refused. She walked away. So, there's that. And, Adore's whole position has been, hey, come back to work. We will do our best to, look after New Jeans. And they're like basically coming at it like that. And New Jeans has like been on the offensive. So we'll see. This is just one win for Adore. We'll see what happens with the other rulings because they haven't done the other stuff yet. Oh, by the way, New Jeans is also filing an objection to the ruling of the court. I think that's how that works. Because they're not okay with it, obviously. So they're gonna fight it, and some people are like, well, why would they go through all this trouble if what they said wasn't true and there was like mistreatment or whatever? Yes, the additional evidence that we still haven't gotten yet, because I'm convinced it doesn't exist unless they got something in their back pocket that Adore did to them or Hybe did to them or whatever. One of the stark differences between KG from Vicha's issues and Hani talking about ignore her, is that KG mentioned all of the mistreatment. Full on. All of it. She hinted at some stuff, saying that like she saw some members who I'm not going to name, right? Hurting themselves and things like that. But she was due to the mistreatment, and she was talking about the mistreatment when they put out the statement. Hani is talking about ignore her, and that's basically what is going on. If there's more to it, and there's more to, this whole story than just ignore her, everybody and their mama's been asking for it. I'm asking for it. Everyone's been asking for it. So if they're not going to put it out, or they're going to wait until the right time to put it out, I guess we'll see. But right now, I don't see them winning anything. And if they do, I'm worried about how this will trickle down later on in years to come, with other groups doing the same thing, following the same pattern that New Jeans did, and trying to give the company ultimatums. You have to bring this CEO back, otherwise you're not going to get the full performance. You're not going to get everything that you want from us unless you bring our mom back, our dad back, whatever they try to do. Win or lose, people should stay impartial without things they're not involved in. Win or lose their case. Thank you. I can't see. I ain't got my glasses on. Win or lose their case, Korea is unforgiving in nature. So the question is, will they survive as idols or fade in obscurity? Yeah, that's the real question, isn't it? Because I think the public sentiment was on their side at the beginning. And whilst they still have some public sentiment, most of it has kind of left at this point because of everything that's been going on with them. And people are seeing cracks and chinks in the armor, proverbial armor. I don't know if they'll survive. And I do agree with your statement as well, Nuna, that people should stay impartial, especially if it's something that they're not directly involved in, or stuff like that. And I am, for the most part, impartial, except for Min Hee-jin. I think Min Hee-jin is an absolute terrible person to have in a professional level like this. There was a good reason why they got rid of her. It wasn't because she exposed Hybe. In order to expose someone, you have to have actual like factual details. So I don't think she exposed Hybe at all. I think she exposed herself while trying to expose Hybe. That's what I think. And then she had a PR team try to clean up the mess, and they couldn't do it because she made too big of a mess. So, you know, Minhyejin, that's one thing. The girls, I can understand why people would be impartial towards the girls and Hybe, or should I say Adore, basically, because that's who's really getting bad. By the way, honestly speaking, they have done some damage to Adore. New Jeans and going off on their own and doing what they were doing, they've been doing some damage to Adore. Financially, reputation-wise, and so forth. The reputation of Adore has been sullied by this. So, even though public sentiment has like kind of been leaving New Jeans, like Hybe has not, or should I say Adore has not come out better for this anyway. Because, you know, the natural order of things in Korea, in any business really, is that regardless of what country you're in or whatever, a business is always looked at as the force with the most power, the force with the most influence. You know, they can blackball you if they want to. They can blacklist you. They can do whatever they want. They can mistreat you. They can do it. You know, they have all this power, all these connections and all that. So they're generally looked at worse than a group. Generally looked at worse than a group. So I do understand that. I do understand that. At the same time, I think it's safe to assume this is not that situation because we still have not seen anything other than the ignore her stuff. Have you spoken about Talitaki yet? No, I haven't. I don't even think I've heard of it. I don't think I've heard of it. Could you tell me like a little bit about what's going on with that? I've never. Let me actually. I'll just follow along as you tell me because I've never heard of it actually. Let me see if I can. Talitaki, you say? Tali. Is that how you spell it? Talitaki. 2 Ks. Okay, it's like, oh, Talitaki to hang out while she Talitaki, huh? She's a New Jeans super fan that has now met them. Okay. No, I've never heard of this. I'll be honest. I've been so out of the woods with New Jeans. I have not even Talitaki and New Jeans hanging out while she was spreading misinformation and hate on TikTok about specific groups. Okay, I'm looking at some of the stuff. I see some text messages here. Is she talking to New Jeans? No plans. Oh, maybe of wait, what? Maybe of your okay. If you're okay, I think is what she meant to say. Maybe if you're okay, I can see you near Hybe. I have to be there by before 2 p.m. anyways. Okay. I'll head over. What is all this about? Huh. What time roughly do you think? Yeah. Okay, so I'm kind of looking at all of these. Well, this just nice meeting you. This looks like they're just talking about them meeting up. Honey and Honey and Danny, thank you so much. Much okay, okay. So okay, so she's the one that's texting them, and okay. No, I've never seen this before, ever, ever. uh, yeah, I haven't been keeping up, so I didn't know this. So basically, what's the story here is that she's met up with New Jeans and she's been spreading misinformation and hate about other groups, like specific groups on TikTok. I mean, if that's really what she's been doing, this just goes to show the kind of people, the kind of youth that New Jeans attracts. She was the person behind the eyelid hate train. What? Really? Wow. Okay. Get out of here. Help, help, help. Minheejin reposted my story of my bandana. You know, this is starting to look weird. This is starting to look weird. I'm not gonna lie. I've also heard she like. Sorry, I also heard she like 30 when she doesn't look that old. 30? This girl's 30, acting like this. Wow. Will the comments always be open? Well, sorry. Will the comments always be open or just for this post? Not sure if I should be fighting for for a reply or not. Oh. Okay. Yeah, the 30-year-old YouTube woman who got exposed for saying the N-word, being creepy towards Ariana Grande, and being xenophobic and misogynistic towards Islet and La Seraphim, hanging out with New Jeans. Oh. Sorry, everything pops up on Reddit. I didn't mean to go here, but this is where I am. That's why I'm looking at comments as well. Just seeing what they're saying. Not that I get anything from Reddit, but I just needed to see real quick. 30 years old acting like this? This is crazy. 30 years old. God, dog. See, this is even this. Even this doesn't work in their favor. Like, what do you even blame at this point? Do you blame New Jeans? Do you blame their parents? The lack of like the lack of discipline, the lack of parental guidance, the lack of like immaturity, their age. What do you blame at this point when they attract people like this? Like a 30-year-old? And then, what is this thing about Minheejin reposting her post about like with her bandana? Did Minheejin hook you guys up with her? Did she contact her? This is why I try to stay out of the speculation stuff, because when I see stuff like this, it leads me to logically conclude things that I probably shouldn't be verbalizing online. Probably shouldn't be, but yet, because like, yeah, okay. This makes sense though that they would attract someone like her, but it's just like a bad example. Like why, Minhee Jin, if she did, I'm just saying hypothetically, if she did contact this woman, Taki, whatever her name is, Tally Taki, which just sounds like a, what do you call it? A weeboo name, a weeboo alternative to Teletubby. That's what it sounds like. Tally Taki sounds like Teletubby and just like a weird. Anyway, if she did connect New Jeans and them to get like her and New Jeans together, and this girl has a bad reputation of her own, how does this help New Jeans? Like with the perception of the public and how they perceive New Jeans, given all the stuff that's been happening, how does this help them? How does this help them now? How does this help them look better in the public? If it's true that she's done all this stuff, which I would argue it probably is, but I have to look into it more to see. I had no idea about this Tally Taki thing. Starting to look weird. Starting to look weird. You are so sweet and kind-hearted. I know. It's been weird from the start. I'm trying to be kind. I really am trying to be a little courteous here, but I think we both can agree this is it's been looking weird for a long time. I just put it that way. So yeah, starting to look weird is a bit of an understatement. That's true. Liked your message, Minhee Jin. So Minhee Jin liked. I can't do this. This is just ridiculous. Imagine if imagine if Hybe executive met any YouTuber who even said New Jeans once. And they haven't. And yet the narrative that was being spread about YouTubers that were covering this, not in favor of Minhee Jin and New Jeans, was that we were somehow being paid by Hybe. I wish they'd pay me. But no, I'm happily doing it for free. At least I was happily covering Minhee Jin and New Jeans for free. So, yeah. But you can pay me to spread the truth, sure. Without me speculating, I can do that. I can revise all my videos and say, you know what, I'm not going to put any personal opinions in here. I'm just going to give you what happened. But no, that they didn't pay anyone. They didn't see any YouTubers. They didn't, they're the ones seeing YouTubers. And honestly, and unfortunately for them, YouTuber, just one, at least to my knowledge, that has a bad reputation already. I assumed this was some, 20-year-old Twitter stan. I'm reading a comment. I assumed this was some, 20-year-old Twitter stan who managed to make online friends with Danielle and Hani. She's a 30-year-old with a history of doing weird things. Just to be clear, being 30 isn't the issue. The issue is her behavior. Okay, yes and no. Yes and no. At the age of 30, you should be smart enough and wise enough. I'm not saying that age makes you smart, but you should be smart and exhibit some kind of sense of I guess, common sense or something. Some kind of brains that match your age at 30. To say it's not the issue, I agree it's not the issue. It is an issue, though. They go on. The issue here, the issue is her behavior and how, based on how buddy buddy she was being, based I cannot read today. Based on how buddy buddy she was being, I assumed she was a younger fan who maybe have more leeway in being rude to young girls versus a fully grown woman. Her behavior is the ultimate issue, but at that age is really weird. That's really weird. Okay, and then this commenter is saying, I guess it's a reply to the last comment. They said, I mean, it is, not the, it is, sorry. How they write this stuff is quite weird. I mean, it is, not in the respect with her interacting with them, but the fact that at 30, she should have more common sense. Thank you. Exactly what I said. Exactly. She should have more common sense and critical thinking skills about the situation. Anyone who is her age and acting like that doesn't look very functional. Doesn't look very functional, or someone I'd want. Sorry, that I don't know why they wrote it like that. Doesn't look like someone, I guess, that's very functional, or someone who I'd want my sister hanging out with. Okay, that's what they're trying to say. That's wow. See, even on Reddit, LOL, LOL, you accept 30-year-olds to behave, or expect 30-year-olds to behave like adults. But she clearly doesn't. So, well, I mean, yeah, because I mean, she's a 30-year-old, and yeah, you would expect a 30-year-old. I'm 33. She's 30. You would expect a 30-year-old person to behave and act like. I don't know exactly what her background is. I have no idea. I don't even care to do a deep dive into that. But I would just go off of my preconceived notions and intuition. A lot of people that are my age or that kind of came into K-pop at my age when I was, say, I don't know, 18, 19. Some of us have, I shouldn't put myself in this because I'm not this person at all. Some of these people have a youthful mind. And K-pop and girl groups and guy groups and all this stuff gives you that youthful, adolescent-like feeling sometimes. And I guess the problem is when you make your whole world about the K-pop space and you lose sense of reality. I guess, because like a 30-year-old behaving like this and like putting out all this stuff and like going to bat for these girls and hating on Islet and La Seraphim apparently, like if this is really going on, this is really going on. How they would spin things to push a narrative, which, oh, the girls trusted. Wait, what is all this? What is all this? What is all this? One. Oh God. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to read that. Woo! I'm not reading that. But apparently, okay, I was looking to see what this was. So somebody had pulled up. I guess this is on. I don't know what this is on X. Either I think it looks like X. Somebody has been like talking about Talitaki. And yeah, two people have been talking about Talitaki and how she's been trying to spin the narrative and things like that. Anyway, I'm not going to read all that. Wow. All right. Well, now I know. This is absolutely ridiculous. She really did this, huh? Dinner time for me, so catch up later, Moonlight. All right. Thank you, Shinies Nuna. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it, as always. Bong PD got crucified for walking with influencers, not even haters, just influencers. This person is a toxic human. Yeah, I remember they said all kinds of stupid stuff about Bong PD walking with those girls. And they were very rude about it too. Like, what woman would want to walk with somebody that unattractive and big and all that? They were terrible. Yeah, thanks so much, Chinese Nuna. Thank you. Enjoy your meal. Let me see. I'm looking for the comments here. Sorry. A YouTuber Rose's Crib reacted to a video Talitaki made a month ago because she spread misinformation and twisted the situation at the time. Really? Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that video. If Hybe paid everyone, they claimed Hybe would be broke. Well, I mean, I don't know about them being broke if they paid every. Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Because not only was it, accused of Hybe that Hybe paid YouTubers, but it was also accused by the bunnies over there, the toxic bunnies, that Hybe paid off the courts, paid off Dispatch, all of this stupid stuff because they just need to win something. They need to win something. They don't care about the truth at all. They don't. They just care about their biases. They do not care. So they're going to spin narrative however they want. They're going to say that Hybe paid these people. And it's easy to say it because this is a tyrannical company. Hybe is a tyrannical company. Oh. But the truth is, they're not doing all the stuff that these people are claiming they're doing. They're really not. And it's very interesting how their narrative, and again, and I talked about this in a video, that Internet's Nathan thing, I don't know how you can be in your right mind and say all the stuff that he said in a video that long. It was absolutely ridiculous. And there are people that I don't know who's worse. I don't know if Internet's Nathan's worse or his posse is worse, because if you've watched the comments, like, look at the comment section. There's literally this one person that follows Internet's Nathan around everywhere in the comments. Literally just, honestly, guys, I promise you, that Nathan video would have been way longer if I had put all of that stuff out there and like looked at it. Would have been too much, and I think I would have gone off track of the point of the video, because I'm not trying to make an expose video on Internet's Nathan. I'm just like addressing the arguments that he was making. But if I wanted to, I could have went deeper into all of the stupid comments that were made by his lackeys over there, and showed you guys these people are not wrapped tight in the brain. None of them. Especially that one dude that was following Internet's Nathan around to be like his shield or something. I don't know what, his attack dog or something. And I'm not saying that Internet's Nathan was sicking people on people. I don't think he was doing that. I think they were just blindly following him and doing all that, which was very strange. I've never seen that before in real time, but I did. But either way, this whole they're being paid. Oh, Hype's paying off all these people, including me and including other people that have talked about it. Stupid. And yeah, they probably would be broke. They probably would be broke at this point. Oh, wow. Tally Taki, huh? Well, alright. I guess I know now. Harassing Islet, LE SSERAFIM, and BTS. And of course, Min Hee Jin would like this. It's funny. This should come as no surprise that a 30-something-year-old would act like this when Min Hee Jin is like twice her age and she's been acting like... Same thing. Why? Because what would possess a 40-something-year-old woman? Well, maybe not twice her age, but what would possess a 40-something-year-old woman to like the posts of a 30-year-old woman who's been spreading misinformation and hate towards Islet, LE SSERAFIM, and BTS? All it does is show that Min Hee Jin has been basically trying to fool everyone into believing that she is just not as bad of a person as people have been saying she is. All it does is prove that those text messages that Kakao released were actually true, because she's liking this girl's... It's not like she doesn't know that this girl has been saying stuff. If netizens know that she's been saying stuff, Min Hee Jin definitely knows she's been saying stuff. She's been keeping up with this person. And to willingly go out, repost this person's stuff, like their stuff, be in connection with her to the point where possibly she might have introduced these girls to her, or whatever the case. Either way, it definitely speaks to Min Hee Jin's true personality that many of us are already well aware of is on full display. So this shouldn't be a surprise to me that a 30-year-old can act like this when there's a 40-something-year-old right around the corner that's been doing this before we even heard about Tally Taki. Very interesting stuff. I was subscribed to Internet's Nathan, but after that video, I couldn't believe he was supporting New Jeans. I unfollowed. Yeah, and unfortunately, I also unfollowed him on the same thing because I was very shocked. It wasn't even just... Honestly, if he was supporting New Jeans, I probably wouldn't have had a problem. It's what he said and how he... It's how he expressed his support and how he basically talked down to everybody who didn't and tried to make himself look like a moral saint in front of everyone. I'm for the... What'd he say? I'm for the weaker side, the oppressed side. That sort of stuff. If what'd he say? If loving or defending New Jeans is wrong, I don't want to be right. Blah blah blah. All this other stuff. And then him talking about how we're obsessed because we keep bringing up Min Hee Jin. Yeah, let's forget about Min Hee Jin for a moment. I know it's hard for you. You're obsessed. Excuse me. When you do that, don't be surprised when a lot of people aren't vibing with you anymore. You can support New Jeans. Now, if you support Min Hee Jin, I think something's wrong with you, personally. But if you're supporting New Jeans, fine. That's your business. I don't have to unsubscribe you for that. But if you're supporting Min Hee Jin, which I'm pretty sure he is, and if you're being condescending to the audience, the half of your audience that disagrees with you, like in that way, No one even attacked him, bro. That's the thing. No one said anything to him. He went out and was like that. And maybe he made a video, and I think he did make a video prior to that. I did not watch that video. I watched the other video where he was like talking about how he's tired of dumb people. That's the one that I watched. I didn't even know he made one. I found out he made one after watching that video. But did I go look at it? No, because I didn't want to hear anything else he had to say. Not after that. No, I had no will to want to watch that. That's why I thank God for people like Chojimi, because Chojimi and Ho Shining, Anika, and Teju, all of these people, like, I love the no-nonsense nature of Teju, but there's also that side of him that, like, gives a little bit more understanding and nuance and things like that to a conversation. Anika, same way. No nonsense attitude, but she still has valid criticism and analysis of stuff. Chojimi, the ever sensible, doesn't really take too many sides, but gives like an overview in a most like in the most center way possible that anyone could. Which kudos to him, because I can't do it. I'm not built that way. But we need people like them. So, you know, they're the young faces now of KTube, and my respect for them. I think Anika doesn't get as much recognition as she should. She's been doing an amazing job. I think she has like school stuff or things like that that she's working on, so she can't always make a video. But when she does put out her videos, I love watching them because she has the ability to convey her messages very clearly, and it's hard to disagree with some of the stuff she says. And listen, that doesn't mean that I don't always agree, or that doesn't mean that I don't disagree, rather, with some of the things that my fellow K2 peers say. I'm sure they probably disagree with some of the things that I say. But that doesn't change my respect for them, because they're not out here insulting people and insulting people's intelligence on videos and stuff, and being condescending and rude to them. So I appreciate them for being authentically themselves while maintaining some sense of awareness and I guess you could say professionalism, as befitting a K-tuber or K-tubers like them. So I appreciate them for that. They're not out here trying to, you know, be buddy-buddy with anybody. They're just putting out their opinion and putting out, like, reasonable arguments. But the internet's Nathan, I don't know what the world happened with him. Don't know what happened. I don't know why he did it. I know there's a lot of speculation as to why he said what he said. I don't know. I don't really care. You do you. You do you. He's in Korea now. I know he's happy about it. I'm glad for him. But you do you. I want no parts of that. But yeah, I understand completely. I was very disappointed because I followed Internet's Nathan for years. And there are still people that are using Soul Light TV as like this example of like sexism. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. However, I will say, you know, because they talk about how he calls Minhee-jin a hoe and stuff like that. And again, I wouldn't use terms like that to describe her. The Jezebel thing, people have said that's sexist because Jezebel has negative connotation. Well, I guess you can't be critical of... I guess they have a problem with him being critical of her while insulting her at the same time. But if it was a man, you wouldn't have a problem with it, now would you? So it's kind of a double standard there. That's number one. Number two, because we gotta protect women, right? Number two, what was number two? The whole sexism thing with regards to like how he calls her Jezebel. There's two parts to that. The one that I just mentioned. The other one is, I don't see anything inherently wrong with calling someone or describing someone's behavior as Jezebel-like, especially if you know who Jezebel is. It's not just a term. It's a person in the Bible who did I like the Bible and I read the Bible a lot, so I know who Jezebel is. I know what she did. She brought all kinds of idols that were not, not to get biblical or whatever, but she did a lot of stuff. She basically was running the kingdom, not Ahab. Ahab was supposed to be running the kingdom. He wasn't. He let her do everything. And that's why Israel became a barren wasteland with no rain. Because she was running things. Anyway, I don't think it's inherently wrong to call someone a Jezebel. I don't think it's anything wrong with that, because we call people all kinds of names as long as it's not too bad. I would never call her a hoe, though. That's a bit too far. But saying that that's like sexist. I mean, Jezebel was a woman, so I don't know. I don't know. Like, if I called her a snake, would that be sexist as well? Because there are male and female snakes, but I think snake has been something that has been primarily attached to women when they do very deceptive, tricky, sneaky things. So I guess maybe you could argue that that's sexist too, but I don't really see that. I think my overall argument is that, number one, telling someone that they can't criticize someone without insulting them, I get it, but at the same time, calling her Jezebel and saying that she went to the Jezebel Institute of Treachery, I don't see that as something that serious to be like, oh my God, sexist. Like, I don't see that. That's number one. Number two, and this is probably the biggest issue. How are you going to use him as an example of sexism and try to, like, I guess, go get on a moral soapbox or whatever, and then in the same breath talk about how, well, no wonder he's talking about her like this. He doesn't like women anyway because he's just a gay uncle. So it's okay for you to insult him and talk about his sexuality and call him a gay uncle and use it as a condescending manner. But it's not okay for him to call her a Jezebel because that's sexist. You literally did the same thing you accused him of doing. So who's really right here? And I've seen people in the comments of Internet's Nathan's video calling him, well, of course he would do that because he's a gay uncle. He doesn't like women anyway. So it just hypocrisy. I don't understand. I don't understand. How do you try to correct him and use him as an example, and then you do the same thing, literally right there, and call him a gay uncle and use his actual sexuality against him? Anyway, that's my little rant. Didn't mean to rant too much about that, but I don't understand it. I don't like it. He's not a really good example. He's not. Again, the hoe thing is a bit of a stretch. I wouldn't call her a hoe. I wouldn't do that. No. I don't use terms like that to describe women. Unless you're actually one and it's proven that you're one. I don't know what Minhejan has done. Have no clue. I'm not going to call her nothing like that. So, But in all this other stuff, like the Jezebel Institute of Treachery and all that, that's just him being himself. That's how he is. That's how he reports on stuff. He's spicy. That's how he is. He's a reporter that dabbles in the entertainment sphere of reporting. That's kind of how he is, and I don't really see an inherent problem with that. I think people have differences of opinion as to the limitations, how far someone can push something. And I agree that there is a limit. I don't think he's crossed that limit, except for calling her a hoe. In my opinion, I wouldn't do that. And I think that's a bad idea to do that, call her a hoe when there's no... I think there was a story that's why he was calling her a hoe. He was saying, because there was a story that she was, I don't know, allegedly saying in some text or something. I'm going off of my memory because I don't remember the whole thing, but apparently she had said something about how she's willing to do anything to, including give her, I can't remember, it was something about her giving her body over or something weird. I can't remember all the details of it, so I'm not going to say much about it. I think that was why he was calling her that, but at the same time, Minhyjin has said she will use body lobby to get her own. Ah, that's what it was. That's what it was. Thank you. Okay, so that's why he's calling her. I mean, I still wouldn't call her that, but, you know, there's people that I watch on YouTube that they don't really, I think my biggest problem is, just like in this Nathan, there are other K-tubers, and I'm not saying that these K-tubers are as bad as him, but they have done a similar thing where they take a clip and they don't put it in context. They just show him saying something insulting, and then that's it. And they say, see, this is a no-no. And someone who I actually don't mind watching, because I think they have a lot of, they're a little bit more respectful, and they have their own opinion of this, but they're a little bit more reasonable to listen to. They basically took a clip of him calling her a hoe and then kind of left it there as like, yeah, he shouldn't have called her a hoe. And whilst I agree that I wouldn't call her that, again, the body lobby thing that he brought up in context, because he brought that up. Thank you for saying that, because that's what it was. Yeah. Quote body lobby, because it was alleged, because I didn't look into it deep enough, so I was looking at what Soul Light was talking about. I wasn't sure if he was, I don't know where he was getting it from, and I don't think I was paying that close attention to that part anyway. So I'm glad that you refreshed my memory. So it was, she said something about like a body lobbying thing and doing that. That's where he got that from. Thank you. So yeah, he did say that. That's what I was alluding to. He did say that, and that's what led him to then call her a hoe. Like hoeing her way to the top or whatever. And whilst I wouldn't go that far, I don't think this is, especially out of context, I don't think that you can say that, oh, he's being sexist. Out of context, if you just play him calling her a hoe and not play where he got that from and why he even went there, I think that's disingenuous. I still think it's disingenuous. So, with respect to any content creator who would do that, I get what the message you're trying to convey, but at the same time, I think it's a bit disingenuous to just throw out him saying that and then not put the context of why he said it and why he went there. And this has been done to Soul Light many times. I'm not here to defend Soul Light or anything like that. I'm just saying I see a weird thing going on with Soul Light and this obsession with trying to use him as a teaching tool to correct people's verbiage and posture concerning a woman. And that's all I see it as. That's all I see it as. What you can and can't call her because she's a woman. And I again, if she said Hobby Lobbying and all this stuff that she's talking about, she said it, and you're missing that point, that part of the conversation. I think you should be a little bit more honest with your audience on that. But I maybe they didn't care about that part, and it doesn't really matter, and that nothing justifies calling a woman a hoe. Maybe context doesn't matter to them in that sense. But I don't like that. And again, the biggest issue I have is when people say, "Oh, you know, you can't call a woman this, or you can't do that." Even if it was a guy, again, you can't call this person this or this person that. And then they go, "But then again, he's a gay uncle. What does he know? He hates women anyway. He's a misogynist because it's embedded in his very, you know, sexuality and this, that, and the other." And now you're using his sexuality in the same way that you claimed he was using Minhee sexuality. And, you know, yeah. So that's all I wanted to say about that. This live stream is really spicy. Oh my God, I didn't realize I was going to talk about all this. I didn't know I was going to stay stuck on Minhee and New Jeans all the whole live stream. I did not know. Did not know. I had no plans really initially for what I wanted to talk about, except for me not knowing exactly what trajectory to take my channel after 3 weeks of like sitting and pondering. But don't worry, I'm good. Don't worry. Don't stress. I'm good. I still have videos in the works, so I'm good. I still have plans. If you don't have plans at all, that's a bad thing. Concerns, okay. Plans, spicy. Yes, very spicy, Anna. Very spicy. More spicy than I planned on being. Way more spicy than I planned on being. But it is what it is. I gotta be honest. But next to that news, there's again the not the Lee. God have mercy. Where am I at? The Kim Se-ron and the Kim Soo-hyun stuff that's been going on, and someone asked me to talk about it. I don't know if I'm going to talk about it or not, because there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm not sure about, and I'm not looking to take a side or anything on this, because I think this is way bigger than, you know, this is not something to take a side on, personally. To me, just me, I don't want to take a side on any of this, because I don't know who is telling the truth, who's not. The YouTuber that, you know, people are like, well, Kim, I keep getting these two people's names mixed up. Kim Se-ron, you know, unalived because of the YouTuber spreading all this stuff and further causing the bullying, the DUI thing that took place. There were a few other things that happened way before that. She was making a comeback, a career comeback, and, you know, her being signed to the gold medalist label that happens to be Kim Soo-hyun's label. Her, you know, allegedly unaliving on Kim Soo-hyun's birthday as a hint, hint, wink, wink to us or to the public or whatever, that something was going on, which is totally speculative, that I want to stay away from. Just too many things. The mom came out and said something, if I'm not mistaken. Too many things going on. She said she doesn't want money. She just wants a public apology from Kim Soo-hyun and all this other stuff that's going on. the YouTuber getting sued, and just it's too much going on. And I told myself I was going to stay away from this kind of thing because I don't like to touch this kind of content. I don't. I let everybody else talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And funny enough, I was actually treating the Minhee Jin New Jeans thing like that initially before I got involved and started talking about it. But this is way bigger than Minhee Jin and New Jeans. This is a way deeper hole because we just lost someone in the entertainment world in Korean entertainment. I covered a little bit of Lee Sung-kyun when he tragically lost his life. But I didn't go too deep. At least I don't think I went that deep. I don't think I went that deep. I don't think. I made like 2 videos or so. With Minhee Jin and New Jeans, I think I've made at least 8 or 9 videos. And I'm trying to not talk about them anymore. But the new information did come out about the court. What their ruling was, this is the first win for Adore. There's still a lot more going on that we need to look at and be aware of, and I'll most likely keep you guys up to date on that. But I'm not going to talk about my personal feelings about this. I'm going to make one final video, of course, fleshing out all of my concerns one more time, and then I'm going to put it to bed. Because we've talked about Minhee Jin and New Jeans a lot from last year, carrying over to this year. We're still talking about this because it's not over yet, right? But the ultimate reason why, there's 2 big reasons why I wanted to continue talking about it. First reason is, as much as these girls have put themselves in a deep hole, Minhee Jin, I feel, put them in a deep hole from the beginning. Because she, I feel, has been very manipulative towards the girls. Their parents, even possibly even the parents. Definitely the public at large. The media. She's been trying to manipulate everyone and everything. And that's a big thing, because the girls, if you believe that she was being manipulative, the girls need to be away from her. And I hope that this thing ends on a good note, and that New Jeans, even if something happens to New Jeans, their career, right? I would love for them to come to the light and get help, professional help. I'm on the side of the girls when it comes to their mental health. I want them away from this manipulative person. Period. She needs to be, Minhee Jin should never work with another group of adolescent kids ever again. I know that technically under Korean law, they were adults since what? Adult age is what, 14? I think it starts at what, 14 or 15, somewhere along there in Korea. So technically, I think that's right. I talked about this before in a video, but I can't remember. I think it was like 14 or 15 is when it starts. So technically they were adult age. I will say this, just because a thing is legal doesn't make it right. They're still kids at 14. And so even if it's like the Korean law, the Korean legal system and how things are done there, that doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be like, oh, well, it is what it is. Well, you're American, so you're not going to agree with it anyway. And it has nothing to do with me being American. It has everything to do with me having common sense and saying that these girls are kids. Any idol that is considered of age to be tried in court as an adult at 13 or 14 or 15 or whatever doesn't quite make sense to me, considering they're not adults. mentally, physically, emotionally. They're still going through puberty at that age. It doesn't make sense to have them as adults. So I have a big problem with that. This is taking way too long. I was supposed to have like 2 points, but I'm fleshing it out for you guys. The the second point is that, what's the second point? I kind of rambled a lot. I gotta find myself. What was the second point? Yes, the second point, which is one of the most important points, is that, of course, this sets a dangerous precedent for future groups, for companies. Is it okay for a group to just cut ties, just hypothetically cut ties or whatever, and say, you know what, we don't want to be part of this company anymore. We unilaterally terminated the contract, because of a breach, things like that, and walk away and not pay anything. And I get that the fee is astronomical, but it's like that for a reason, so that people don't try to misuse the contract or whatever. But is it an astronomical amount? Yes. Breaking even with the company is a lot. It's a lot. And I've heard that a lot of idols don't get paid until they break even, which is very difficult to do. It takes a lot of years to do that. Unless your group is like a hit sensation and you guys are like selling like hotcakes in the market, it's going to take a number of years. And you got 7 years before you renew your contract. So that's a lot of time that you're going to be spending probably not getting paid unless your group is doing very well. But either way, if New Jeans can take advantage of the contract, then other groups can do the same thing. And I guess an argument can be, the question should be, is that okay? Is that okay? And another thing that I've noticed is that the bunnies have been trying to interfere in the New Jeans situation, externally interfere. And hello everyone, I hope. Oh, Haifa, hello. Haifa. Hello everyone, I hope I wasn't too late. Got you. You're not too late, but I don't know how long I'll be going today. It probably won't be that long. It's already been 1 hour and 53 minutes. But if New Jeans can take advantage of the contract, then any other group can do that. Any other group can do that to any other company, and that's a dangerous thing. So we'll see what happens. It's sad because I actually was hoping that at the beginning I was hoping that Minheejin not Minheejin, but that New Jeans were in the right. I was hoping that they were in the right initially. But the more I started digging and looking at the timeline and looking at everything that was going on, my common sense, and this was not I didn't watch any videos on New Jeans. I was directed towards New Jeans because I was looking up something. And I must admit, sometimes Soullight language makes me uncomfortable, but I watch him because he is a good journalist, and I agree with his overall point. I agree. He can be a bit crass. At times. And I would not dare say half of the stuff that he says out of his mouth. And I don't think it has anything to do with him being gay, although a lot of people, let me stop generalizing, although there are those, there we go, that would suggest It's because he's this gay uncle, and that's why he's saying all this stuff. Because, you know, when you're gay, you can just say stuff like this, and it's okay or whatever because you're gay. But I don't think that's why. I don't think that's why. He's got a little sass to him. Yeah, okay, fine. I get it. But I don't think that his sexuality should be weaponized against him as to why he's saying things like that. Nor do I think he himself should be saying some of the things that he says. And I've said that before on the Nathan video. Some of the stuff that he said, I would not be saying. I have, like, my brain, all of the signals would be shooting through my brain not to say, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that, back up, right? Don't add that to the recording, please. Don't call her a hoe. What are you gonna, you know, imagine if I just called a woman a bitch for, like, the entire, I didn't mean to say that like that, but that slipped out. Imagine if I called a woman that throughout an entire video. How would that be perceived? And I think So Light's like one of those people, like, he doesn't, I'm not saying he would say something like that. That's a bit, you know. But, like, hoe is bad enough. Again, I get why he said it, and with context, you will understand. But even with the context, I would not have said it personally. But I understand why he said it. Why he even went there. I get it. I get it. I just wouldn't have done it. But I get it. So yeah, I agree with you, Haifa. I do. I agree with you. Totally agree. But he is a good journalist. And that's why I watch him. It's the same reason. He's a very good journalist. He's good at what he does. He knows the game. And he's been doing it for years. And he's an independent journalist. And I don't like watching mainstream journalism. Whether it's in my country or in someone else's country. I don't really like watching mainstream journalism because they always deceive, lie, manipulate, say something that's not true, put out headlines just because it's juicy. It doesn't have to be true or factual or anything like that. Betray certain people. Journalism and the mainstream media is very, very vicious and toxic and evil in my country and in other countries too. Which is why I watch independent journalists, because they, even if they have a side, they have common sense and facts. And they may not be right on every point, but at least they're being honest and they have their own mind about stuff. But mainstream journalism is evil. It's terrible. And it had me thinking a lot of things about, you know, certain individuals in my country for a long time. My mind, my point of thought was led by and guided by mainstream media and the nonsense that they talk. And then I stopped. I finally had stopped and had enough of them manipulating me and telling me what to think. So, yeah. I appreciate people like So Light for being himself and being a reliable source of information. And yes, he does put out his opinion alongside there. He does. But I don't see his opinion as being damning or anything too bad that, like, oh God, he shouldn't have said that or whatever. The whole thing, of course, like I said, I wouldn't have said that, but you know. So Light being So Light. Kim Se-ron's parents give me some mixed vibes, but I don't want to call them bad people or hold judgment against them because they are grieving. Yes, I'm kind of having the same problem when I look at what Kim Se-ron's mom, parents in general, put out. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about them. I of course, I don't want to say anything. I want to reserve my personal feelings about them because we don't know everything that's going on. So it's just like this situation is causing me to be very cautious and careful while observing everything. I don't want to say anything that, could be possibly wrong, probably wrong. So I'm not going to cast any dispersions one way or the other. But it just, there's too many things that, and because I have all of these feelings, mixed feelings, I really can't talk about it. I really can't talk about it indefinite as to what's going on and what, because I don't know. I don't know. At least with the Minheejin and Nugeen's thing, there's enough evidence to draw the conclusions that there's a manipulator who's been manipulating everyone, and Minheejin and not me, but Nugeen's and all that other stuff. There's enough evidence there for other things as well. So, but this is just one of those things I can't. Even Lee Sung-kyun's thing had more evidence pointing to what was going on, which, again, pointing back to Moonlight, the first person that I watched regarding the Lee Sung-kyun situation was Moonlight, because he gave very good, will you react to Hobie's new song? I want to react to all of the stuff again. I just need a camera. My camera no longer does. That's the reason why I haven't done any reactions for a minute, because I don't have a camera that does what I need it to do. My camera doesn't want to do what I want it to do anymore. It literally doesn't work. So I have to get a new camera, a better camera, and one that I could actually use for not only reactions, but for podcasts, live streams. I'm using my phone, and I don't really want to use my phone for the visual part. I want to use my phone for other purposes, but I'm forced to use my phone because I don't have a camera. But if I can get a camera, I can definitely do the reacting. But what I can do in the meantime is I can make a video talking about, because you know how I used to do my reactions. I would react without pausing, and then I would give my thoughts at the end and kind of like give an overview, a brief overview. What I can do is give you a brief overview video of what I thought of the song. That's what I can do, at least until I can get my camera. I can do that definitely. But at the moment, I'm stuck. Camera, that's another thing. Like when you're doing content creation, a camera gives you so much versatility. You don't have to not see my face the whole time. Don't get me wrong. I love the secretive anonymity feeling that I get from just having my voice. But from the editing standpoint, it kind of sucks because I have to now rely on, let me get this video, and let me get this, and let me get that, and let me just get this video. And I wouldn't have to do that if I was talking to you guys on a video like this. I could use this phone, but this phone's memory and data is terrible, and it won't even give me enough time to make a decent sized video to put out. It won't, and I'm gonna get very annoyed with it. I know I started out my YouTube channel by using my phone, so I know exactly how that works, and it's not always great. It's not, but yeah, I can definitely just make the video. Of course, like I said before, it would be so much better if I could just talk about stuff on camera, a really nice high quality camera, and edit me talking and then show little things on the side or whatever, and then cut back to me and all this stuff, have the camera zoom in like I used to do. I would love to do that again, but I just need a camera. Okay, that's all I need to get me a camera, and that's what I'm aiming for right now. Camera. I'm really enjoying J-Hope and this LA team so far. I really want to talk about that stuff too. I really want to talk about it. J-Hope. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad. So many people are coming back now. Kai from EXO. You know, J-Hope's back, and who else is back? Jin. There's not a lot of people from BTS that are back, right? Jin's back. J-Hope's back. Did anybody else get out of the military in BTS yet? I don't remember. I don't think so. But yes, EXO's Kai's back. So glad. I want to talk about all this stuff. There are two other creators that I liked watching when it comes to the New Jeans, Hybe, and Minheejin situation. These creators are called Honeyverse. Ah, yes. Hybe Boy. Someone had suggested Hybe Boy to me. Honeyverse. I've been watching Honeyverse as well, and I like Honeyverse. That's her name. Honeyverse, the black girl that's in Korea right now. That's she's like black British girl in Korea, and she like researches all this stuff and talks about it. And yes, trust this. Yes, trust this computer. What's wrong with you? Oh God. There we go. Sorry, y'all. The phone didn't know whether to trust my computer or not, and it's been 2 hours, and it's been trusting the thing. Hybe Boy, yes, Hybe Boy. I've been watching Hybe Boy. Honeyverse. I've been watching her, and I love how they cover everything. Korean entertainment and culture. I'm sorry, Asian entertainment and culture. And there's some other ones too. She how do you say this name? I think it's she. Ooh, I'm gonna be so upset if I get this girl's name wrong. I think it's Shiwon K-pop T. I think that's how you say it. I like how she covers things. Capital Victims. I like how she covers things. And mind you, they cover it in like short bite sizes, but both of those. But they cover it well nonetheless. There was another one. Who I was watching. I can't remember her name, her YouTube name. I'm subscribed to her, though. But I can't remember her YouTube name. I think I'm subscribed to her. But yeah, I watch all these people, so I love watching all of them. She's Infinite just had a comeback, and it's good. The comeback is called Dangerous. Okay, I will look that up today. Infinite Dangerous. It would be easier if I made a memo instead of trying to rely on my memory, because I know my memory as a 33-year-old has not been great. Infinite. And the track is Dangerous. Okay. Got it. Alright. There we go. Infinite and Dangerous. There we go. Alright, I got it. So I'll be looking at that when this live stream ends, which will probably be, I guess, around this time. I guess I should end it now. I wanted to talk to you guys about just, stuff, K-pop stuff that I'm looking at and dealing with and looking into and things like that, and my concerns. Oh, next live stream that I do, I will be asking you guys, if you come back, hopefully you will. The next live stream that I will do, I'm going to ask you guys, because I really want to do this video that was suggested to me on how, like, what is solo standing, the toxic nature of solo standing. Examples, because I don't know. I looked it up, but I didn't see a lot of solo standing issues. So if you guys could give me some examples of solo standing, if you have any examples, or if you're any suggestions, let me know. But yes, I think I should. BTOB is also going to have a comeback. I actually saw them on, was it NBC SM for you? It was one of those Korean radio broadcasting stations. I saw BTOB, and I think GOT7 is also making a comeback if they haven't already. There's a few groups that have been making some comebacks lately from, what, third gen, second gen-ish, third gen-ish. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to, like, all of that stuff, and I need to actually make sure I have a memo. And yes, when I get my camera, I will be doing, GOT7 did already. Okay, yeah, GOT7 did one. I need to actually listen to it. When I get my camera, I'm definitely going to do reactions again. How can I not? Jackson will also have a comeback. Ah, good. So, yes. I guess that's it. I think that's it, everybody. Yeah. You know, when you do live streams for a long period of time and you have a ring light, like, shining in your face, sometimes you get delirious. And I think I'm hitting that delirious point now. Yeah, I'm hitting it. So yes, that'll be it. Thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of y'all spending your precious time with me. I will be coming back to YouTube land with a video on Taemin's Horizon, because I've been meaning to do this for 3 weeks now, and I just couldn't do it because we were taking care of my grandmother. But thank God she's not here anymore. In a good way, she's alive, but she's at home, at her home. I have a little bit more of my schedule back. So I'm going to talk about Taemin's Horizon. I'm going to talk about all of the songs on the Eternal album. And I'm going to try to do this more often with other albums and mini albums as well. And I might even try to make long forms of, like, mini albums. I think mini albums in long form is not bad. If you're trying to do a long form of a 17 song album, that's going to be a pretty hard thing to do. But 6 songs an album, I probably could just do a full video on all 6 songs. But for the sake of time and for the sake of my computer not exploding on me, I'm going to do 1 song each video just so that I can, kind of warm up to the idea. But vocal analysis videos will be coming too. I know I've been saying that for a while, but I do have one in the works. I'm just trying to make sure I have it right. So, yeah, bear with me. And thank you guys for your patience. Thank you guys for waiting patiently for me. And thank you for being here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Honestly, I couldn't do this, guys, without y'all help and support and love for the channel. You guys are why I'm still doing this stuff. Honestly, it's not the money, it's you guys. So, Yep, I'll see you guys soon in the next video. And until then, y'all take care. Have a good weekend. Peace. Love you guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully it'll be a video this time, not a live stream. And I'll try to bring Mama Moonlight back, because I know a lot of people have been demanding Mama Moonlight come back and even make a YouTube channel. I don't know what in the world she's going to make a YouTube channel about, but we'll figure it out. We'll see what happens. And I'm working on some art, and I'll show you guys when I'm done. And I'm going to try to like work towards making my art channel as well, and my game channel. So yeah, a lot of things I'm trying to tackle, but one thing at a time. K-pop, K-tube comes first. So anyway, yeah, I'm talking too much. Let me go. Bye-bye. Bye, guys. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.